live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, April 10th. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island, New York, all across the country on Real America's Voice. Welcome on in on a Thursday night. Lots to do. Slick Rick is here. He's got sports. Slickster, how are you?
Good, Big D. Big day today. The Masters kicked off.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about the Masters. I didn't watch any of it today, but I want to hear where our picks are after round one. Rick Delgado's going to do the news. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I'm good. It's Thursday shirt day.
Oh, it's a little matching.
So I match my my dolly.
Very good.
Me and my doll. I'll show you where on the doll where I match.
That is your favorite new shirt that you
It is my favorite new shirt.
Wow, it's like LeBron now. He's got a doll. See?
Yeah, LeBron. You know that LeBron
Ambassador.
thing's going for $300?
I know. You laughed at me when I ran that story last night.
Oh, my God. I heard it. I couldn't believe it today. Kevin Downey Jr. is here, the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show. Speaking of LI News Radio, 9 to 11 weekday mornings, and he's here with us tonight because he will not be with us tomorrow night.
No.
When we are live at the America First Warehouse, and that's because KDJ is going to be on the stage being funny, and that is how are you?
Don't start writing checks that my act can't cash.
No, you can cash.
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thank you, Big D. Yeah, I'm going to be at the Comedy Works in Saratoga Springs, New York tomorrow. It's a hippie town, so I'll be walking a few, I promise. They always do. They always do. One show Friday to Saturday. Go to thecomedyworks.com for tickets. How are you, Big D?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. So if you're in the area, the Saratoga Springs area up there, come on, go get them tickets to go see KDJ. You'll enjoy the show. And then you can go up to him afterwards and talk to him.
Yeah.
Take some pictures, and I'm sure it's going to be great. So check him out. So speaking of talking to people, Slick, I went to dinner tonight with my lovely wife because my son has a new job at a new place on Long Island. Not new on Long Island. There's actually a couple of them open called The Pizzeria. And I'm sitting there having dinner with her. And as I'm eating, guy walks by the table, and I can see him look down. I happen to glance up, and he goes, "Don't want to bother you, but I love your show."
I thought I was the only one who got that.
And so I stopped, and I said, "Oh, thanks so much." I said, "You're from the area?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Believe it or not," he said, "Believe it or not, I was a couple weeks ago at the Ancient Aliens show, and I saw your." He says, "And I saw your boy." And I said, "Really? Was he wearing a tinfoil hat?" He said, "No, I was though." And I said, "Oh, okay."
Wait, I think I might have a picture of this guy.
And then he proceeded to tell me that he saw 2 UFOs over his house in the last couple weeks. And I said, "Oh,
wait."
I started looking around to see if Delgado was in the restaurant, if he sent them over to me.
Was it that guy?
No.
No.
Was it?
No, it was not.
Oh
Was it
God.
that guy?
But he was no.
No, there's 20 guys wearing those hats. 30 guys.
Yeah,
Come on.
Delgado. Every picture you took was
It's not that unique.
lunatic with a tinfoil hat on. It's not him. But no, he was a lovely guy.
I know.
Lovely guy. Couldn't have been nicer. And he's going to come when we're live at the America First Warehouse on May 2nd with a live studio audience. He's going to come down. But, you know, it's just funny when people come up and they say, "Oh, man, I love your show." You never get used to it. I know it happens to you all the time, Slick.
Yeah, all the time.
Doesn't happen to me. Hey, Fran, let's see if we can get the great John Solomon on tonight.
Oh, nice.
As they got declassified Russia collusion documents today. So I don't know if we'll see if John is available. He just texted me. So if the great John Solomon from Just the News is available, we'll get John on. He said breaking news the last couple of nights at Just the News. So we'll try to get to him. There's a lot of news to get to. We'll get to sports and the Masters. KDJ is going to have some news as well. But, I mean, I think we have to start, and unfortunately, on a somber note of this, what happened in New York City today.
Horrible.
I mean, the video kind of catches it towards the end, so I don't know. But just from the New York Post reporting, 6 dead, including 3 kids.
Yeah, it was a tourist helicopter carrying family members from Spain that plunged into the Hudson River today, killing all 6, including the 3 kids.
Just brutal to watch. It just looks like...
Yeah, look at this.
It just looks like mechanical failure or some kind of failure.
They said it came down pretty much at like a 40-degree angle.
Oh, if you watch
upside
the video.
down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it was
complete failure.
It looks like it was all wrong.
Right.
Huh?
pieces coming off of it in air.
Yeah, that's mechanical most likely.
From the New York Post, 6 people are dead after a tourist helicopter carrying a family from Spain split in half midair and spiraled out of the sky before crashing into the Hudson River Thursday afternoon. Dozens of first responders rushed to the tragic scene after the Bell 206 aircraft, apparently missing its rotors, plunged into the river near Pier 40 in Manhattan near the Hoboken border of New Jersey around 3:15. The head of the Spanish branch of the technology company Siemens and his family were identified as 5 of the victims who were killed. The 6th victim was a pilot whose identity has not been announced. Agustin Escobar, president and CEO of Siemens in Spain, his wife and their 3 children had just arrived in the Big Apple from Barcelona earlier in the day. Law enforcement sources said the doomed chopper was owned and operated by New York Helicopter, a tour company in the Big Apple that touts itself for providing comfort and safety to customers. So obviously something terribly went wrong here with this, and our thoughts and prayers are obviously with everybody involved, all the first responders, of course, obviously the families that are all going to be devastated by this. Just horrible, horrendous news and video to see coming out of New York today.
Terrible. Oh, my God. Had to be mechanical failure. Absolutely.
Yeah, according to this, according to one passerby, this guy, Eric Campoverty, told ABC News he was walking by and the helicopter went down at like a 45-degree angle. It sounded like a sonic boom. He said the helicopter was splitting in 2 with the rotors flying off. So that's a complete failure. Unfortunately,
yeah, I heard some discussion of wind too. That there was some winds earlier in the day, but not to that degree.
Not like that.
No, not to that degree.
No, they wouldn't have gone up if it was that bad. So just a devastating story this afternoon. I guess it happened around 3:00 here in New York City.
Yeah, just horrendous. So we'll follow that. Well, the big news, obviously, as John Solomon texted me, and it was just out on Just the News about little bit more than 40 minutes ago. John Solomon broke it. Headline, FBI memos. And we've been talking, it's amazing to think back on this show because we have been talking about these people, these names, as it relates to Hunter Biden, as it relates to the Biden family, as it relates to all the Russia collusion, and all of these names that you go, oh, yeah, I remember talking about that. I remember talking about the bank transactions. I remember talking about this guy. Stephen Halper is a name that you will be very familiar with, as we spoke over the last 3-4 years with John Solomon and all of his fantastic reporting. FBI memos now reveal $1.2 million compensation, reliability concerns for Russia collusion informant. Newly declassified documents show informant Stephen Halper was motivated in part by monetary compensation. Oh, you don't say. Was paid nearly $1.2 million from the FBI over 3 decades.
Well, that seems about, that's usually what goes on in D.C. is you get paid off, it seems. And that's how you get ahead. Not doing the right thing, but no, getting paid off.
Mr. Solomon says he can join us, Fran. So let's try to get him on, if we can, we'll try to get him on Skype. I'll just text him that now and see if he can jump on. But just a little bit from John's piece. The key FBI informant is the widely debunked Russian collusion case, was paid $1.2 million over 3 decades, and he was motivated in part by that monetary compensation and continued snitching. Even after agents concluded he told them an inaccurate story about future Trump National Security Advisor Mike Flynn, newly declassified documents show. The nearly 700 pages of once secret documents obtained by Just the News were recently turned over by FBI Director Kash Patel to the House Judiciary Committee, Chairman Jim Jordan, after President Trump ordered them declassified at the start of his second administration. They provide the most extensive portrait yet of former FBI informant Stephen Halper, a Pentagon consultant and academic who, along with the retired British intelligence agent Christopher Steele, was used by Bureau agents to build the Crossfire Hurricane case against Trump and his advisors during the end of the 2016 election and the beginning of Trump's first term in office. The memos confirm Halper was the source of one of the most sensational, bogus claims to land in the FBI's probe in the summer of 2016, that General Flynn had left a 2014 foreign meeting alone with Russian scholar Svetlana Lukhova when he was a three-star general leading the Defense Intelligence Agency. FBI agents ultimately deemed Halper's account to be not plausible and not accurate, but the Bureau proceeded to investigate Flynn, and we all know what happened there. Kept the fact that they paid Halper and continued to vouch for his veracity as a confidential human source codenamed Mitch, the memos show. For instance, a March 2017 memo showed the FBI's Validation Management Unit wrote that it, quote, assesses it is likely Halper is suitable for continued operation based on his or her authenticity, reliability, and control. That memo makes no mention in its unredacted portions of the concerns about the account Halper gave about Flynn, which were confirmed in a memo from William Barnett, the FBI agent who handled the retired Flynn case in 2016-2017. Halper was paid $70,000 by the FBI between August and February from 16 into 17, a time period spanning his activation as the informant targeting the Trump campaign, and then the 2016 election and Trump's inauguration. The FBI records also showed that the Bureau paid Halper $1.1 million from 1991 into early 2017. Boy, good work if you can get it, huh?
Yeah, just making up stuff and getting paid for it. Almost like what they do over there at PJ Media, right there. No, I'm kidding. Right there, Kate.
Shockingly, Stephen Halper did not respond to a request for comment, which Just the News made through his lawyer, Robert Luskin. The Crossfire Hurricane redacted binder submitted to Congress and obtained by Just the News includes, among other things, slightly less redacted versions of the tasking orders and debriefings of the two main confidential human sources, Halper and Steele. And so, you know, we've talked a lot about the FBI. We talked a lot about Kash Patel. We talked a little bit yesterday about one of the hirings and questioning that. But when you look at this story, one of the first questions I would have is, would we ever know about this if it wasn't for Kash Patel? Right. Even under other Republican appointees to this position, would they have it in them to turn this over? Given guys like Comey and all of these others who have been there before, who still wanted to keep things under wraps, even if they were on your home team. So you look at here, first big news we see coming out of the FBI and having Kash Patel there. So we'll see if we can get Mr. Solomon on to join us here, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B, just getting started on a Thursday night. We're back right after this. Whoa. No. I tried this. No.
Yeah. Now we get our turn. Don't worry. We coming up.
Right now it's
All right, speaking chat. What's going on?
Yeah, chat.
What's going on? KDJ in the house, correct?
Oh,
my friend,
right.
he said
We're live in the
give him
chat.
5. He needs to reboot.
YouTube chat.
If you're watching on YouTube, X, Rumble, wherever you're watching, make sure you hit the like, subscribe. Racing Banshee on X. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Ticked Off Patriot. What's going on?
Howdy, Rumblers. Here we go.
Lorraine on YouTube. Hello, hello. Tim Nelson. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Looks like someone got a haircut. Who is that?
Kevin.
KDJ. Oh, looking good.
Did. Thank
Nice.
I thought you were gonna stick with the longer, with the mullet thing you were going with. You were
No,
growing it out.
it'll grow back.
Is the mullet coming back?
You were growing it out.
I'm bringing it back. Yeah, I get it cut short and then I just let it go. It grows back.
Radman24 on X. What's going on?
Well, it grows back fast, though.
Yeah, pretty fortunate.
I hate you.
I gave him our Skype name.
I thought Skype was done.
That's what I heard.
A couple weeks.
Oh,
Is it a couple weeks more?
I heard they shut it down already.
Yeah, I thought they had shut it down.
Apparently
No,
not.
it's May 3rd.
Howdy, Twixers.
Carol says, hi, David.
Hi, Carol.
Dave Syverson says, just for men.
Does she say it just like that? Hi, David.
I might have thrown on that accent just to be a silly goose.
Where's Sharon?
Ba-ba-da-da. 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody, on a Thursday. Lots to do. We're going to effort trying to get a couple minutes out of John Solomon, who I know has a very busy night, as he always does when he breaks news. So we can get a quick 5 minutes with Mr. Solomon. We'll try to do that so he can recap exactly how important these documents are and whether we, whether he or anyone else would have seen them if not for Kash Patel, and what the what it means for everything. So we'll talk to him about that if we can. But let's do some sports and news while we can. The Masters started today. I didn't see any of it really, other than what was on the TV while I was eating dinner. Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. And as I say that, I once again remember that I forgot to bring the Rev 7.
I'm never going to try this stuff, and I'm going to pass
You
out.
didn't bring it again?
Didn't bring it.
I forgot. Well, it's because I went to dinner before.
I know.
so
you were
forgot.
fixated on those pizzas. You couldn't wait for that.
So
Yeah, did you bring it?
LFS6B is the promo code to use at MyPillow. Slickster's got sports. What's going on, Slick?
All right, Big D. Well, let's get right to it, right? Augusta, Georgia, the National Golf Club Masters kicked off earlier today. And out of the gate, Justin Rose shoots a 7-under to lead the crew there. Corey Kahn has had a 4-under. And one of your picks, Ludwig Eberg, shot also 4-under. So they're right in the mix there. Of course, Scotty Scheffler as well. So three-way tie for number 2, Big D. And right now, Justin Rose leads the pack on day one. Day one complete now. So we'll keep.
Watch out for this kid.
Yep. I know.
Kid's got a sweet swing. He is a good player.
Yeah, well, we got three more days. We'll have an update tomorrow night as well. Frozen Four tonight, guys. You know, we talk about a Final Four with the basketball. The hockey's big, especially up north. They love that up in Minnesota and Wisconsin, Chicago, and Boston. So some great games going on right now. Denver and Western Michigan tied at 2 with 7:43 to go in overtime. Western Michigan is the number 4 ranked team in the tournament. And again, Frozen Four. Penn State, Boston University, that is coming up at 8:30 tonight. So we'll keep track on that. I'll keep you up to date with those scores. Major League Baseball, just a few games in action right now.
By the way, Slick, not to interrupt you, but can we just talk about Freddie Couples shooting 1 under today at the Masters?
I saw that, yeah.
At 60 whatever years old.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Incredible.
Hold it out from the middle of the fairway for, I think, an eagle at one point.
An eagle, yep.
I mean, 1 under opening round for Couples puts him tied for 11th. I mean, I don't know whether he can keep it going, but I mean, just making the cut, if he makes the cut, is
at that age is incredible.
Amazing on that course.
Amazing, and that's a name we remember for how many years ago, right?
And by the way, DeChambeau, who a bunch of you guys picked, is right there
Bryson.
too, 3 under.
Yep.
Yep.
I think those are the only 2 picks that are really right now there.
Yeah.
But again, none of this matters until Saturday, when it's moving day at the Masters. So.
It's just like the Elite Eight. Nothing really matters till you get to the Elite Eight and the Final Four. A couple of more baseball scores. So Braves and Phillies tied at 1, end of 4. Final from earlier today. These are all finals, by the way. The Angels absolutely took care of business against Tampa, 11-1. Guardians 6-1 over the White Sox. Royals over the Twins, 3-2. Rockies down the Brewers, 7-2. And the Red Sox nipped the Blue Jays in 10 innings. That was the final there. Oh boy, NHL action. I think this team is definitely mailing it in. Rangers up 4-0 at the end of the first period in the U Bailey Score Arena. And yes, the Islanders are living up to the name because they're barely scoring, as in they scored 0 so far. So Islanders pretty much mailing it in. Rangers are on the cusp too, because it looks like Montreal may get that last wild card spot, but they still have something to play for. You got something to say?
Well, I'm just seeing that Tony Finau shot 3 over. I'm never picking Tony Finau ever again for any golf tournament.
Every time you do,
3 over
out.
Opening round for Finau.
Unbelievable. Like, it's early. Come on.
It's like me playing the course. I could have shot 3 over.
Yeah, he might rebound. I doubt it, though. It's a bad start. He might not even make he's going to make the cut, right? We don't even know.
Didn't someone pick Russell Henley?
No, not that I know of, unless Paul picked him.
I think Paul picked him.
Yeah.
He said he's the hottest player on the tour. He shot +7.
Paul might have picked him. Yeah, well, wow, he ain't too hot today. And one more big thing. Just want to get to a rodeo. Good one, too. San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo go running through the 18th of the month, San Angelo, Texas, from the Foster Communications Coliseum. Let's get right to it. Bareback, Cole Ryan at 88 points on Corkrow Rodeo's Tater Tot. We have steer wrestling, and we're in the second round. We have a tie. Bridget Anderson on Dakota Eldridge and Danelle Henderson, 3.3 seconds. A three-way tie there. And we have team roping. Second round, Dustin Squeezer and Levi Goodlord, 3.8 seconds there. Good time. Saddle Bronc. And we get first round, which tied Ben Anderson and Pete Carr, Pro Rodeo's Northern Exposure, and Thane Elsewhere on Max Rosio's Squash Blossom. Tie down. We got second round, Ty Harris, 7 seconds flat. Barrel racing, my favorite event in the rodeo. Second round, Jordan Driver, 14 4/10. Good time there. Bull riding, last but not least, the Granddaddy Mole. Dustin Bouquet, 87 points on Hampton Pro Rodeo's Kicking the Lie. Total payout on this rodeo, $104,206. Big deal. I'll have a little bit more golf stories and obviously some other good Olympic stories as well with all the transgender nonsense that's going on. I'll get back to you on that in the next segment. That's a wrap.
All right, Slick, very good. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Let's do some news. Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, I don't know if you heard about this, but, oh my goodness, China's really turning the screws to us. They're threatening to curb Hollywood film imports in their latest retaliation against Trump tariffs. Didn't see that one coming, did you, Dave? China said earlier today it would immediately restrict imports of Hollywood films in retaliation for President Trump's escalation of U.S. tariffs on imported goods targeting one of the most high-profile American exports. Industry analysts said the financial impact was likely to be minimal, of course, because let's face it, we don't get to sell much to China anyway. However, because Hollywood's box office returns in China have declined significantly in recent years, they cite that as the major thing. After 3 decades during which China imported 10 Hollywood movies per year, Beijing's National Film Administration said Trump's tariffs would further sour that domestic demand for U.S. cinema. So, wow, they went from importing 10 movies a year, 10, which is probably what they release every weekend here, to now they're going to downgrade that. Here's Trump when asked about that question and China restricting Hollywood. Here's his response. Cut number 3. Check this out.
Mr. President, China retaliated today by reducing the number of American films that can be shown there. What's your reaction to them now targeting cultural exports from the United States?
I think I've heard of worse things than Yes, please.
Yeah, so there it is.
Wow.
It's not that big a deal.
That is such a proper response to a stupid question.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Because because there are worse things. It's like, oh my goodness, they're not importing our culture. They didn't never import our culture.
You get a moment like that. That's what you come up with to ask them.
Yeah. Amazing. And I don't know if you saw this. This should
Weren't they using Whoopi Goldberg videos over there for instead of waterboarding? Weren't they doing that?
I think so. Could be.
I think so, yeah.
Do you know that's why they don't have any Chinese bad guys? in these movies because China won't allow it there.
Oh. Right.
And of course, one of the 45 goals of communism to take over the U.S. without firing a shot is to take over Hollywood, which is what they've done. You will never see a movie with a Chinese bad guy.
Not anymore.
When was
Think
the last
about it.
one?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't
Isn't there
know.
a couple James Bonds with
Soviets.
It's always the Soviets.
Commies.
Commie pinkos.
I know you guys are really into misgendering. Well, it happened to Andy Vandy. Anderson Cooper got corrected by a woman for using the wrong gender identifiers. Here's cut number 1. Check it out for yourself. Anderson Cooper misgendering a woman, and she flips out. Cut 1.
Paul, we're back with Senator Bernie Sanders. I want to introduce Grace Thomas. She's a local civil rights attorney. She's a Democrat. Grace?
They, them pronouns, actually. Thank you.
Oh.
They, them pronouns, actually.
Good evening, Senator Sanders. Polling and turnout data indicate that men of all racial demographics are turning
just
away
disgusting.
from the Democratic Party.
No, you're not a
but
they, you're not a them, you're one person. You're a female, you're a she, and you're a her. So shut up and take it. Ugh.
Come on, Mr. Delgado. How do you expect underachievers to stand out in the world if they don't make up dumb pronouns?
All right, 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do some news with KDJ.
People are
Coming
insufferable.
up right after this.
What would you do that for?
That Delgado makes a living in there. That's why they won. Put him on notice.
Chat. What's
Put 'em on
going on
notice.
in the chat?
MAGA Patriot 63 is going with Scotty Scheffler.
That's a good pick.
KRH on Rumble says, Delgado, you should have listened to its question to Bernie.
I don't care about the question to Bernie.
Okay.
I care about the simple fact that she had the audacity to demand to be called something more than one person.
And he didn't do anything but go, oh, okay.
Right, exactly. And he just took it like the little bee he is.
I love when they eat themselves.
Andy Vandy.
Farmer Brooke on X says, nothing over here, Damon. Okay. I don't know what that means, but nothing on X. How's the X chat working these days, by the way?
It's they, them. Shut up.
Can everybody see it? Is it like scrolling?
What are you
Working?
talking about?
X. They were having problems with the X chat.
I'm not in there.
Let me check. It looks good.
Okay, good.
Rancher Dane is in there. Dave Syverson. I'm in there. Commander Mike. Racing Banshee. Radman. Donita.
College grad failure on X. Damon Sweater brought to you by Snuggle the Bear.
It's actually kind of funny.
It is actually kind of snuggly. I'd give you a hug, college grad, if you were here and you could see how snuggly it is.
I had a Cuddle the Clown at my 10th birthday. And he was,
Did you slap him?
oh, no, it's bad. It was bad.
Cuddle the Clown.
Cuddle the Clown. Yeah, Cuddles. He
Let me
You had
ask.
the clown slap
So
him.
when did he get arrested?
They caught him with
Now,
Pee Wee Herman.
Syverson says the chat sucks on X still. It doesn't work. It sucks, he says.
Oh, well,
It
then go
looks
to
like
another
it's
one.
fine.
No, nothing. I think he's doing Hannity, so he's probably tied up. He had to choose between Hannity and us.
Enville Pilgrim said Goldfinger. Did Goldfinger have a...
Damon, can you ask Slick
a
if he picked up the
Chinese-
package I sent? Donita on X
so.
wants to know. So,
No, I haven't gotten to the office. I'm going to go tomorrow.
Donita, he has not.
I haven't been to the office in a couple days. It came yesterday.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, so I got notified,
good.
and I'm gonna go there tomorrow. I just couldn't get there
It's
today.
high on the list.
I'm sorry, I was just crazy. I would pass the office today, but I just waved at it because I had to keep going. I'm so busy.
He waved at it.
I was on the
Hello,
road. I was like,
package.
gotta keep going.
Hello, package.
Sorry, Aaron.
Sharon out there. Shut up. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice, and of course, across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in. Slick's going to do some more sports. Delgado's going to do some more news. But let's get around here to Kevin Downey Jr., the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, 9 to 11. Weekday mornings, where I still am the only person on this show who has not appeared on the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, but that will soon change, I'm sure.
We can change.
Oh, if Aaron and Fran probably haven't appeared yet either, so the three of us are what's left. KDJ's got some news. KDJ will be appearing in Saratoga Springs area tomorrow night. One big show tomorrow night on Friday night, and 2 shows on Saturday at the Comedy Cellar.
The comedy works.
The comedy works. And the comedy does work when KDJ is doing the comedy. So make sure you get your tickets and go see him at the Comedy Works. KDJ, what's going on?
Thank you, Big D. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what's going on. Folks, so as you know, the communists want us to believe everything they say so they can control us. And here we got a guy, Oregon, go figure. He's 27 years old. He has a beard. He identified as a 15-year-old girl, and he enrolled into a high school. And he got there, and everything was fine until someone said, hey, Madison has a beard and looks to be 27, not 15. Now, what do you know? It's actually Madison, when he's not in school, he goes by Michaela Craig, who identifies as an animal, also a registered sex offender, trying to sneak into the schools. They actually got him. And, well, folks, if you're a registered sex offender, you're supposed to stay away from kids. And this one, he got a whopping 20 days in the Hooskow. 20 days for signing up to go, be a predator where the kids are. Because that's where the pedophiles go. They go where the kids are. And it's usually in a school, sometimes scouting and whatnot, and sometimes sports.
Sometimes they show it at your birthday party named Cuddles.
Sometimes, but Cuddles the Clown shows up and give Cuddles a hug, Kevin. Okay. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. So, the bigot I am, I hate to see these pedophiles get into our schools. But in Oregon, they're all for it. Remember, folks, MAP is not something that gets you from place A to B. MAP is now a minor attracted person. And, this guy, he's what they call an offending minor attracted person because he's been busted. So he's going to jail. That's good to see because you don't really see that a lot. Now, I've got another one, and man, see this one right here, I'm telling you, this one they should just take to the shooting range and have an accident. Again, West Coast, this guy gets 50 years. 50 years for being a pedophile animal that he is. It's a Portland leftist. His name is Noah Medrano. Now, the fun part about Noah is that when he's not attacking kids, actually, he adopted a Canadian girl, brought her over to the U.S. in the trunk of his car, raped her repeatedly, and then he went to do his... See, he's also a radio host, just like me. He is, but he's a host at anti-fascism station KBOO. 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 KBOO, what's up? And he was doing his show there. Now, this, folks, this is the type of guy that wants to see an M for MAP put on to the LGBT FBI group, whatever you call him. He wants to be because he's a pedophile, just like that other guy who pretends to be Madison or Michaela. They're making a real push to get pedophiles to be a little more acceptable in public. So what we do is we don't let them control the narrative. We don't let them control the language. They're not going to be MAPs. They're going to be filthy pedophiles. If you start calling them MAPs, you've lost. And that's going to hurt kids everywhere.
Okay. Any other uplifting news, KDJ, that's on your radar here today?
I've got tons, man.
Any upgrades?
I've got, you know what? Let's get away from the pedophiles now. As my parents eventually taught me. So, hold on. It was a rough birthday. So, Jocelyn Benson.
Which one?
Jocelyn Benson is a filthy communist from Michigan. She's the Secretary of State. I knew someone working in her office. So when I'm telling you she's a filthy communist, I have inside scoop that this animal is a filthy pinko. Now, she was giving a little talk, and she said, there are no non-citizens voting here in Michigan. We would never allow that. And then instantly finds 15 in record time. Jocelyn Benson, the same person, she had to be sued by PILF, that's an election integrity group, had to be sued to get dead people like my parents off of the voter rolls because my parents don't need to vote. They voted Democrat enough. They can stop. This is also the woman who in October of 2020 told her election clerks, no need to check those signatures on the drop-off ballots. We're going to be too busy. Well, it wasn't her place to make that call. She got clown slapped in court about 4 months later after gropey Joe Biden had taken over the White House. But now that they found 15, they're digging deeper because they know they're going to find hundreds, if not thousands more, which leads us briefly to Tulsi Gabbard, who said in the cabinet meeting, we have proof that those voting machines are corrupt and can be manipulated by people not even near them. She mentioned that in the cabinet meeting. And it's all coming out, folks. Everything is coming out, all right? We know the Bidens were filthy. We know they cheated in 2020, and that's their big one. That's their holy grail, because once you lose that, then you lose control of the January 6th narrative, and it all comes crashing down, and we're going to see just how grotesque these globalists, swamp wigglers, bog frogs, call them what you will. You know I hate them, and they're all about to be exposed. I do so believe.
All right, very good. KDJ is going to have some more news here within the hour, probably, or within the show for sure. Let's do some more news with Rick Delgado. News is brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition. Delgado, what's going on?
All right. Well, this one is right in your wheelhouse, Damon. I think Chris Cuomo is ripping you off. He's ripping me off, Robin. Hoo-hoo. Chris Cuomo says Trump has brought us to a special place. I don't know if you know what that place is. It's cut number 4. But here he is on his show. Chris Cuomo trying to take credit for something. Cut 4. Check this out.
Let me start with full disclosure. After close to 30 years in this business, and in law and finance before that, there is no doubt in my mind that culturally, politically, and systemically, workers have been left behind in America on purpose. We now make billionaires and broke people more than anything else. President Trump is now singing this song, but can he hold the tune? Hard to tell, because right now, he has us in crazy town again. I don't care what team you're silly enough to support. That's where we all are. Crazy town. What is that? No clear path, no messaging, just madness and making it up as you go. That's crazy town.
Yeah, so there you go. 3 times.
Where did he get that from?
What the hell's he talking about? No messaging, no vision, no what?
Well, that's Chris Cuomo. He's
just out to lunch.
He is. He's a master negotiator. I don't know if you knew that.
He's out to lunch. Like, I mean, you can say a lot of things, but to say that there's no make it as if there's no thought behind any of this, or there's no vision, or there's no. What are you talking about? Like have you watched the guy operate at all? Like, what do you mean? He's got us in crazy town?
Right? No,
he doesn't. Doesn't have us in crazy town whatsoever.
Well, according to Chris Cuomo, it's because Trump does not know how to negotiate, David.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. Thank you.
He has no idea, which is why we're in the mess we're in. This is Chris Cuomo, cut number 5, because Chris Cuomo knows how to negotiate, not Trump. This is how it's done, according to Chris Cuomo. Check it out, cut 5.
We're now told that tariffs are part of an intricate strategy with many phases. The president just never bothered to explain it until after he did it. And the markets tanked. Well, we couldn't warn our enemies, his people tell me. But isn't that your posture if you're in an actual war, not a trade war?
Aaron.
Almost all the players here are our allies.
He thinks you're supposed to tell everybody,
you guy's a moron,
what you're going to do before you do it.
Why don't you grab another Q-tip, you dope.
It's almost like I equate it to buying a house. Right? Say there's a price of a house, $500,000. You want to buy a house, but the guy wants $750,000, but you're actually willing to go to $1 million. Would you go up to the guy, Chris Cuomo, and say, you know what? I'll buy it for $750,000, but I will buy it for $1 million if you charge me that. Right? That's him, because that's what you're supposed to do in negotiations. Tell everybody what you're going to do, and then magically it'll all come to fruition the way you want it to come out.
Yeah, you know what? He needs people around him to say, look, you're not relevant anymore. Doing this is not going to make you relevant. You have the testicular fortitude of a Ken doll. Shut up, go home, and don't try to be a tough guy. That was just embarrassing. I'm with you, D. That was just horrific.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, no one's looking to him
No.
to give us this kind of information. Like we're not looking to Chris Cuomo to try to like break down the 4D chess of tariffs that the president's playing. Like who does he think he's talking to? Like anyone's interested in hearing that from him? I mean, that's the first part I don't get. Like, I don't know who these guys think their audience is.
Well, I love the fact that he thinks you're supposed to tell everybody what you're going to do in negotiations before you actually get there to get the outcome that you want to get, even though it would totally destroy your efforts to try and get the best deal possible.
I mean, does he think people listen to him and go, oh, that's why I don't get this tariff thing. Oh, no, now I get it. Oh, he didn't explain it before he did it. If he explained it, then he did it. I mean, come on.
If he told everybody what he was going to do first, then it would all be.
The guy's got too many. Him and his brother got too many vaccines and boosters, I think. Maybe he's taking them in the head instead of in the arm or whatever.
Anyhow, switching gears from the great John Solomon's JustTheNews.com, RFK Jr. announces his research effort into the autism epidemic is going to have a goal, he says. Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. said earlier today the agency's research into autism will provide answers by September into what causes the disorder. He says, we've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures. Kennedy was likely referring to the testing and research from the Make America Healthy Again Commission that President Trump ordered in February. The commission, made up of Kennedy and other secretaries, to look into everything from the rates of autism and asthma in children to how much medicine is being prescribed to them for ADHD and other conditions. According to Reuters, 1 in 36 kids now have autism, or they're on the spectrum, according to the most recent CDC report from 2020, compared to 1 in 44 in 2018. So there you have it. They're looking to have an answer by September, which is a pretty aggressive goal when you talk about something like this. I think they probably already have the answer. They just know they need to get their ducks in a row and make sure they have all their evidence, because we kind of see where it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be very interested in this. As people who have watched this show since 2015 know, I've spoken a lot about this. David Kirby's absolutely fantastic book called Evidence of Harm, which I think came out in the early 2000s, was the first really mainstay read of thimerosal and autism and the relationship there. I believe David Kirby's book is still available. If you haven't read it, it's a really good place to start if you have any interest in that link between autism, between thimerosal, mercury, and autism. So I heard this today, and I thought, boy, I'll be very interested in see what they come up with, because it's something I've been on my mind for many years. All right, the great John Solomon will join us when we get back right after this. Big breaking news tonight in Just the News, of course. We'll talk about it with him right after this. All right, chat. What's going on? If you're watching on social media, Rumble, YouTube, X, Kick, Facebook, wherever you're watching, we appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe wherever you're watching. John Solomon has been busy today, someone said, with this news. I'm sure he has been. I'm sure he's going to have a busy night. That's why we always appreciate him giving us just a few moments, which he will.
Nice.
Here coming up. What else is going on with the chat?
Oh, man. Renowned immunologist drops bombshell as heart failures surge 115,000%.
Yep. Oh boy. Are you on Slay News?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In mRNA vaccinated.
Yep.
See, I saw a study that dropped in JAMA or something that said if you got the flu shot,
Thank God, right?
you got the flu shot this year, you're 47% more likely to get the flu. Say what?
My wife was telling me that. My wife told me that last night. I'm like, what else?
What?
It's like, why would anybody get the flu shot?
Because they want to get the flu.
I guess
Just
so.
buy one, get one. Get the flu shot, get the flu.
It amazes me. I still walk into the doctor's office. They go, do you have your COVID shots? I look at her and I go, no.
That's funny.
I'm a moving target.
Well, would you like the flu shot? No. Have you ever gotten the flu shot? No. I'm surprised you're even asking me at this point, Doc.
You know the answer.
You can look at the
I say
chart.
no all the time.
Look at the chart.
Yes.
Look at the chart.
115,000% heart failure.
I said, don't worry. Chris Cuomo took all of mine for me.
He's stealing Crazy Town.
He's stealing Crazy Town, yeah. Trump's got us in Crazy Town, he says. Really?
Pretty sure he appeared in a Crazy Town at least once.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. Maybe he saw it. Cuomo appeared in many Crazy Towns. Him and his stupid brother with the.
They did get their share of Crazy Towns. You're right.
Yeah.
The giant Q-tip.
The giant Q-tip. That was one of them for sure. Rancher Dana on X. What's going on? Hello.
I still can't get song and dance.
Oh, that's painful.
God.
Painful.
Walgreens reminds those over 65 to get another shot. Unbelievable, yeah. Live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island, New York. Welcome on in. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. He'll do some more. Doug Otto's doing the news. Kevin Downey Jr. is here. He's going to have some more news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always on a busy Thursday night. Please welcome the editor-in-chief and the host of Just the News. Of course, you see John Solomon and Amanda Head weeknights right here, 6 p.m. on Real America's Voice. Please welcome back to the show the great John Solomon. Mr. Solomon, how are you?
I'm well, guys. Good to join you.
Always great to have you on. Obviously, big news tonight. FBI memo now reveal $1.2 million compensation, reliability concerns for a name. As I said to the audience, you think back of all the reporting you've done, all the talking we've done in this show, and these names keep coming back, and you go, oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, Stephen Halper, another one. So tell us what you found out here.
Well, finally, we have the full declassified documents that President Trump ordered declassified a second time in 2025. Remember, he ordered them in January 2021, and the FBI scooped them up and defied his order and didn't give them to the American public. But we got them again. Today, they were transmitted to Congress. Tonight, Just the News has published all of them. You can go up and read every single one of them. There's some really interesting reading. But we want to focus on one angle tonight because there were two informants that made the Russia collusion case possible. The first was Christopher Steele and his dodgy dossier. And then after he set up the investigation with the bogus claims written by the Clinton campaign or paid for by the Clinton campaign, then they used Stefan Halper, a Pentagon consultant, a Cambridge a professor, to go in and start wearing a wire and trying to see if the Trump campaign was really in collusion with Russia. Now, we know that all the recordings showed just the opposite. They weren't in collusion with Russia. That didn't stop the FBI. They kept going. But we're learning some important stuff about Stefan Halper tonight. The first is he found a very lucrative profession being a snitch for the FBI. Nearly $1.2 million he made from 1991 to 2017 being a confidential human source for the FBI. That is a astronomical number. I can't think of many other informants that have ever been in that range before. But more importantly, within the Russia collusion case, when it is actually starting to ramp up in July and August of 2016, in the middle of the 2016 presidential election, Stefan Halper gives the FBI an early story that actually is used to open up an investigation on Mike Flynn, President Trump's eventual national security advisor. There's just one problem with that story we can see from these documents today. The FBI found out right away it wasn't true. The story was that as a three-star general, Mike Flynn, then the DIA chief, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, left a foreign meeting alone with a Russian woman, sort of a honeypot suggestion. The only problem is it wasn't true. Mike Flynn's details said he didn't leave with anybody. He left with us. And by the way, just think how improbable that story is. A top intelligence agency chief being alone in a foreign country doesn't happen, right? They keep eyes on him 24/7. So the FBI dismisses this very important story as not being true, but they continue to use it to authorize the investigation of Mike Flynn. They continue to pay Stefan Halper. And when their validation comes up, that's a process the FBI has to do for sources. Every so often, you got to go back and say, are they still reliable? Are they double agent? What do we know about them? They go in and say, he's totally good. We like him. Let's keep using him. Don't even mention the fact that he gave him a bogus story that had been easily disproven by the FBI. That's how silly, how crooked, how insane the Russia collusion case had to be in order to keep it going and keep the aura of a corruption scandal around President Trump when, in fact, there was no evidence at all, not even an iota of evidence that Donald Trump had done anything wrong.
Yeah, you know, John, that you bring up, I guess, of many questions, obviously, that come out of this, one of the big ones is this persistence in using Halper as a source despite clear evidence of inaccuracies. So was it just oversight failures, or was it something more devious, like a deliberate bias here?
We don't know. We just don't know. Is it Trump derangement syndrome? You know, listen, one of the things you do see in the Stefan Halper report is he's wearing a wire and he's finding out that George Papadopoulos is like, hey, we're never going to do anything wrong. We're patriots. We don't do anything wrong. He tries to sting Carter Page. By the way, that's what the FBI asked him to do. So Halper's not doing anything wrong, but he can't get anything on Carter Page either. Why? Because the guys weren't really in collusion with Russia. So he's actually giving the FBI the evidence that there's no proof of collusion, but he gives them one bogus story. The bogus story is used to open up on Mike Flynn. As we know, a few months later, from the reporting I did a few years ago, the FBI tries to shut down the Mike Flynn investigation in December 2016 and January 2017, concluding there was not any evidence of wrongdoing, no evidence that Mike Flynn did anything wrong. They start to write the closing memo, and Pete Strzok calls the agent, an agent named Bill Barnett, and says, hold up, the 7th floor doesn't want you to close. We're going to try to keep it open. And they keep a bogus investigation open at the direction of the top leadership of the FBI. The 7th floor would have been Andy McCabe and James Comey. Just think about that. So without any evidence, the FBI is ordering an agent not to do what he's trained to do, keep the investigation open. Then they meet at the White House a couple of months later, as you probably remember, and I've lost my earpiece, guys, so I apologize. But a couple months later, they're at the White House, the Obama White House. Joe and Barack are about to leave the White House. What happens? They decide, let's come up with a Logan Act case. Let's try to keep this thing going. Let's try to entrap Mike Flynn in a lie, so maybe then we could prosecute him. The FBI agents come out of that meeting and they write a memo. What's our goal here, to get to the truth? Or are we trying to just create a crime that we can then prosecute? That is what happened over this entire long period, starting with Halper.
Yeah. We're speaking with John Solomon. Of course, he's the editor-in-chief at Just the News. We'll give John a second to get his earpiece back in. And, of course, we're talking about his piece tonight that's in Just the News. FBI memos now reveal $1.2 million compensation, reliability concerns for Russian collusion informant. And, again, all the things that John's talking about, you know, you can look at this thing and you could look and say, well, geez, how reliable were the FBI's vetting processes for confidential sources during Crossfire Hurricane? And you could kind of look at it like that, but then you could also look at it and go, man, are they just all crooked at the top? They weren't. That had actually nothing to do with it. This was just all devious. Why would they move forward with Flynn when they knew it was accurate, when it was inaccurate? Did they have some preconceived notion? Was it already a preconceived narrative that influenced their actions? So there's many ways, John, to actually look at this and think, well, geez, is it just like I said, I mean, was it just all so crooked at the top that
Sure.
Yeah.
I think most Americans have concluded that, in fact, it was crooked. And listen, you have an FBI lawyer who actually doctors a document, right? But even he doesn't get punished. He gets off with that slap on the hand. There seemed to be a culture in this period of the FBI of getting Trump was more important than doing what was right by the law. There was no blindness in this justice. The justice was obsessed with finding something to get on Donald Trump and his team. And as a result, they have created one of the darkest and most awful moments in the FBI's history. There's no other way to look at it. Whether all the people were corrupt, some of the people were corrupt, the system was corrupt, and it resulted in a corrupt prosecution, a corrupt imposition on the American people, not only in imposing on the 2016 election, but then imposing on the first 2.5 years of Donald Trump's presidency. Because if we all remember back, it was 2.5 years of hysteria for a Russian collusion story that wasn't true. It was invented by Hillary Clinton's campaign. And then because no one's published, let's tie it forward, Damon, if we could, to the recent developments this week. What did we learn this week? A second example of the Biden White House weaponizing the FBI to go after Donald Trump. 2 years ago, I broke the story with the document showing that the Biden White House, through its counsel, ordered the National Archives to sic the FBI on Donald Trump in the classified documents case. Bad, right? Their future opponent, they're using the FBI to set them up for an investigation. By the way, a case that ultimately got dismissed by the judge. But now you got one other piece of this, right? This week we learned they did a similar thing. They grabbed Donald Trump's old phone as president, something that should be protected because it has potential executive privilege information on it, and they ordered it sent to the FBI, hoping to get Donald Trump investigated a second time, this time for January 6th. The pattern continued for 4 years because no one ever got punished.
John, hold with us in the break. If you're watching on social media, you're going to get an extra question before we let John go. If you're on the network, we're going to hit the break right now. We'll be right back with hour 2 coming up. And if you're in social media, stay with us. The great John Solomon, one more question exclusively on social media coming up right after this. We're in the break. John Solomon's still with us, and I know you got to go, so it's real quickly.
A few minutes. Yeah.
Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, John. Thanks for joining us, first off. But quick question now. Because of all that you guys, or all that you've uncovered in the last couple days, and especially with something like this where you see the FBI purposely holding open and trying to create a crime, can we expect any of the James Comeys or any of those ilk to be actually arrested? And like you just said, unless there's punishment, this is probably going to happen again.
Yeah, listen, the 5-year statute of limitations are mostly gone. It would be hard to make a conspiracy case because the Russia collusion case gets knocked down in 2019. So even if you take the very last act of 2019, the statute's gone. Here's the bigger issue. John Durham tried to start. I think he would have rolled up to the top of the FBI, but he couldn't get a simple conviction in the Washington, D.C. jury pool because people hated Donald Trump in this city, a 90% Democrat city. So the system is rigged in such a way, and what the prosecutors in this Justice Department don't want to do is secure acquittals that would suggest that what all these Democrats did is somehow legal or lawful. So they're going to look for other ways to punish people, right? Pull their security clearances, pull their contracts, screw up their law firms. But until we fix the justice isn't blind problem in America, there's not going to be much accountability in Washington, D.C. and New York. They're two Democrat-obsessed cities.
What about a charge of treason? Is there a statute of limitations on that?
There isn't, but it's the same jury pool, Washington, D.C. You're not going to get it through. That's what John Durham ultimately concluded. A Democrat prosecutor who believed that what needed to be done was to prosecute the conspirators in Russia collusion, and he couldn't get a jury to convict on overwhelming evidence. The evidence was, one of the jurors later said, I thought he probably lied, but I wasn't going to convict him. Not me. So,
John, would we have gotten any of this other for Kash Patel? Even under a Republican president, you put some establishment guy in there, and they just say, well, we'll just keep it under. Would we have seen this other than for Kash?
If it weren't for President Trump's determination and Kash Patel's willingness to comply with the president's orders, we would never have seen this. I spent 4 years. I was supposed to get these documents on January 20th, 2021, the FBI stole them from us. And then we spent 4 years in litigation. We couldn't get them, but Kash Patel gave them to us, so we're in good shape.
John, we always appreciate a few moments. Thanks. I know you got a busy night. Appreciate it.
Love your show, guys. Take care.
The great John Solomon right here, live from Studio 6B. We're in the break. We're going back. Hour 2 coming up in 10 seconds.
Wow.
That was
All right, hour 2, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, April 10th. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Slick Rick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's going to do the news. Kevin Downey Jr., the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. shows here tonight. He's going to do some more news as well. We just had the great John Solomon on from Just the News about his breaking story tonight about Stephen Halper, Crossfire Hurricane nonsense. FBI paying him $1.2 million over a bunch of years. And we went into the break. For those of you who are just watching on Real America's Voice, not on socials, Delgado, your question for Mr. Solomon in the break was,
are we going to see anybody like a James Comey arrested? Because of obviously they were weaponizing law against a president, a sitting president. And, you know, to hear his answer saying probably not is kind of depressing when you think about it. And not only that, you know, I brought up treason as well. If there's because he said there was a statute of limitations on some of the charges that could have been brought. I asked about treason. He said probably not. And again, it just kind of if people are not held accountable for the crimes that they commit, what's to stop them from doing it over and over and over? You're just empowering them to keep doing it because they know they can get away with it.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but maybe a military tribunal would be perfect scenario for people like a James Comey, where there is no D.C. court people that you have to worry about. You have to sit in front of the military and explain yourself there with the evidence.
Yeah. You know what, Rick? You know what I think? It's almost like Biden burned down the house and Trump's here to rebuild it. But if he doesn't put sprinklers in, they're just going to burn it down again. Right. Someone has to go to jail. Give us 2. Give us 3. I'd love to see Fauci. Probably not going to happen. At least a Comey. You got to throw us a Comey.
Yeah.
Into the who's.
I mean, some of these people, I mean, just what they did, violating the law, violating their oath, trying to overthrow a sitting president. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to pay for that, right?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Damon?
Yeah.
I know you think I'm nuts.
Yeah. Not what you're saying, and I think you're nuts in the fact that you think that anything's ever going to happen.
On that note, any update on the Epstein list?
Thank you, Slick. That's a great.
That's it.
That's the point.
Come on, Delgado.
I mean, you throw around these words like, and I'm on board with you 100%. But I just chuckle because it's like no one in D.C. ever takes any of this stuff seriously, and maybe when they're in front of the camera, if they're on the opposite party, oh yes, we have to get to the bottom of this, and then they meet up at Morton's Steakhouse that night, and they go, "Hey, did you see me on TV? I said we got to do it."
Yeah.
None of them believe in any of this stuff. They just want to get along and go along. 99.9% of them. They don't care what evidence there is, or you throw around the word treason. None of them ever would throw that word around or ever take it seriously. Come on, stop being dramatic.
Dramatic? How about being honest?
Yeah, but
you are. The audience is. We are people who live outside that bubble. But this class of
bureaucrats.
It's just not. They're just not going to turn even on. They're just not. It's just never going to happen. Just never going to happen. It's just going to be total disappointment. So you're waiting for that. As John said to you in the break, just not happening. DC jury poll, 99.9% have all TDS. You could have whatever evidence you want. It's not happening. What'd you say, Kev?
I was going to say that they tried to kill Trump and they tried to put him in prison. I'm just wondering if there's part of him that goes, okay, game on, and he's going to get maybe the lower hanging fruit. I don't think he's going to get a Fauci.
But the jury pool there was all on board with that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like you said, the jury pool. Well, we'll defend our own criminals.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, that's just the reality of what it is in D.C. That's just the reality of what it is.
Well, then maybe what he's doing is correct. And maybe, what Tim Burchett said was a nice little tip of the iceberg, so to speak, the other day when he mentioned Chuck Schumer possibly on the wrong end of the criminal justice system because it seems like trails are leading to him. Hopefully we can get a Chuck Schumer if he's violated the law.
And who do you think is going to prosecute him?
I would hope the Department of Justice. And they might do it down in Florida or take it to Alabama where they could find a nice jury. Or in Texas, they might find a nice jury.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? They like to judge and jury shop. Why can't we? Just saying.
I agree.
Listen, I agree with you. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, sadly.
Right?
I don't think it... They've got to get somebody. They're just going to do it again. Fauci's a mass murderer. I don't expect them to get him. Get one of his underlings and just scare the hell out of the animals who did this. Because next time, as soon as Trump's gone, they even said that NATO admiral, the DEI, we're just going to wait it out. I'm not hanging Trump's picture or Pete Hegseth. We're just going to wait it out. Well, she got fired. Good. But someone has to pay because they're just going to wait it out.
Yeah. Yep. More people have to pay, not just one or two.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get them all. I mean, this is just what we're seeing is just ridiculous.
But look at it this way, though. I mean, I agree with you 1,000%. Trump can't even throw some little Nazi bozo out of the country without a judge going, hold on, I want to hear the case of Mr. and see if he can throw him out.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So how are they going to go after a bigwig if they can't get a student?
Right.
That's a good point.
Very good.
I hate it.
Yeah.
You got a judge in Maryland, as we talked about, arguing that you need to bring this guy back. Oh, no. He has a right to be here. You got to bring him back.
Yeah, and you know what? 60% of Democrats wanted us thrown into gulags, and seriously, into COVID camps because we didn't get the clot shot. But every rapist and murderer, they deserve due process. You can't just throw them out. They deserve due process. They wanted our kids taken away from us. 50% of Democrats wanted kids taken away from parents that weren't, raising their sleeve and bending their knee. And now they're all due process for the thugs. That's where we are. Yeah. They hate us. Yeah. And you know what? I'll talk about this later. They're getting very brazen with their violence against patriots. Very brazen because they're getting away with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, until they can't get away with it. You know what it is, we saw it with that clip. I don't know if you saw. I played that clip with a guy running over a person with his golf cart because they were throwing a rock through his house.
Yeah.
It's like people are going to take things into their own hands. You're not going to be able to get. You're not going to have to worry about due process because the American people are going to have at some point in some places they're going to say enough is enough. I'm taking this into my own hands. Unfortunately.
And I will say my hat is off to you patriots. There hasn't been a lot of that. There was one guy who drove his car into it's not funny when he drove his car into a bunch of Tesla phobes who were wiping their bahoogies on Teslas. That wasn't funny. It was hilarious. Don't do that. Don't do that. I can go to jail for saying that you should do that. So don't do that. So that's really the only one I can think of. I'm shocked a father hasn't gone into a school and said, who allowed my son to cut off his beanbag? I am cranky.
Yeah.
I mean, that I can see. Well, you're going after people's kids.
Yeah.
And my hat is off to you, fellow patriots. Keep it peaceful. We're going to win. I promise.
Yeah. Well, we've seen some at school board meetings. I'm sure there have been probably some that we just don't know about, you would think.
Remember that father in, I want to say Loudonsville, maybe, Virginia?
Loudoun County. Loudoun County,
thank you.
Yep.
His daughter, to say she was raped is just putting it's just not enough. It was vile. It was vile. I had to write about that. And the cop goes and says, why didn't you arrest him? Why did you transfer him? Or the father goes in, and the cops beat him up.
Yes,
for
asking
lippy,
the questions. Yes.
Saying, why was my daughter raped?
Yeah.
He got beaten up.
And there was a father I just saw yesterday on X who confronted the school board. He brought in pictures of the pornographic material they were allowing to show kids, of, men and boys doing stuff. And he was asking them, why are you allowing this? And I'm sorry, but, I don't know if I could be as calm as he was. Because if that stuff was going on, I can tell you, it probably wouldn't even have been me in that household. The mom would have reacted probably harsher than me.
Yeah, it's coming.
Because this is that kind of stuff is just they're trying to force perversion and sex on small children and make it so, like you talked about, and I've mentioned it before, minor attracted persons are people too. No, they're not. They're criminals. They're broken people. You throw them in the trash. They're not worthy of trying to save, because mentally, if you're going after kids in a sexual way, you have a mental problem and you don't belong in polite society. You don't even belong in any society. Drop them on an island and let them pedophile themselves. I don't care. I'm sorry. Am I going too far?
Not at all.
I've never heard pedophile used as a verb. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. All right, very good. All right, let's do some sports since we didn't do any. Good lead into sports there. Let's do
soccer, no less.
Mike Lindell, LFS 6B, since we didn't do any in the last segment because we had the great John Solomon on. Slick, what's going on?
All right, well, some sad news in the sports world. Soccer player dies at 21 after collision with opponent during a match. Hilar Gonzalez Altamirano died of a ruptured artery in his brain, his brother says. This is Ryan Morick of Fox News. A soccer player died after a collision with an opponent during a match this week. Hilar Gonzalez Altamirano, 21, died Tuesday after sustaining a head injury in a collision with a goalkeeper. In the 71st minute of a match in Peru, Altamirano's teammate booted a ball from near midfield and Altamirano chased it down. However, when the opposing goalie went to catch it, he collided with Altamirano, injuring Altamirano's head in a scary crash. Altamirano then landed hard and lay motionless. He was quickly taken off the field on a stretcher, and he later died of his injuries. Altamirano's brother told local media in Peru a ruptured artery in his brain led to Altamirano's death. Hilar wanted to be a great footballer from a very young age and was always talking about going so far in the sport as he could. His father, Jose, told local media, according to Metro UK, I know his team's going to dedicate all their future achievements to him. So some really sad story there in the sports world. And moving along, Big D, we got tennis legend Martina Navratilova asks Dems what they're willing to give up for men who identify as trans. Navratilova has criticized Dems for their lack of support to keep women's sports fair. This is Ryan Gatos of Fox News. Fencer Stephanie Turner appeared on Fox News Friends this weekend, where tennis legend Martina Navratilova has championed fairness in girls and women's sports and has hit out at Democratic lawmakers who have failed to show support for her and others. Navratilova on Thursday posed a question to Democrats as some states have continued to thumb their nose at President Donald Trump's executive order to keep males out of girls' and women's sports. What are Dems willing to give up for men who identify as trans, she asked on X. Abortion? The Constitution? Rule of law? That's just for starters. End quote there. At the start of the year, Navratilova criticized Democrat lawmakers who killed the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. The tennis legend called on Democrats to grow a spine in a post on social media. Of course, we know Trump signed the executive order back in February, so Navratilova continues to be a champion with the Riley Gaines and what have you to keep this going. We got that fencer. She did a phenomenal job, too. I know I understand the transgender fencer dropped out of that college. So that's a wrap in sports. Nice. Back to you.
Good. I'm glad he did drop out. How about that?
I'm glad. Hey,
see ya.
Is there ever a chick dressing as a dude playing with men, playing against men? I can't find one.
I haven't seen. I've been searching high and low.
All right. That'll do for this segment. We'll come back. We'll do more live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, after this quick break. We'll see you in the chats. Chat. Just stopped the rescue phase and gone to the recovery. In other words, they don't think they're going to find anybody alive.
Wow. The collapse was on, I think, very early Tuesday morning. It's now
Was it Tuesday morning? I thought it was Sunday.
It was no. I understood it to be Tuesday morning, very early Tuesday morning.
Wait, was that Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many baseball players?
2.
Okay.
Hey, Child of the King with a super chat.
Child of the King, super chat. Get to that. How about?
Get to it. I'm not taking your job.
Nah, it's okay. Child of the King, thank you. 2020, and that's good vision, I'll tell you that. Delgado, he likes this stuff. Delgado is 100% correct. They need a checkup from the neck up. I'm still on the road, but had to pipe in. So, Child of the Cat on the road, still contributing. God bless her.
Thank you.
Super chat.
Child of the King, we appreciate that. It is infuriating, though, man.
Yep.
And you know what? You hit the nail on the head. And I'm even afraid to talk about it on air sometimes because I don't want to. You know what? Donnie's right. Katie's right. I am cranky. And then they go to the guy on the radio. He inspired me. Yeah, I am. My hat is off to how patient people have been.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, you see that stuff that Solomon's talking about. It's like, that's a clear violation of the law.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Not only should they be arrested, but they should lose their pensions. They should lose, because that's a violation. I'm sorry. You just undid any good that you've done throughout the years. You just undid it all.
Yep. And you know what? I will say the past 4 years were terrifying because I got the 4 S's when you're traveling. Mm-hmm. A bunch of us at PJ did. I don't want to live through that and wondering if every day, is this the day the FBI's at the door?
Right. Yeah.
Because
of wrong things.
It's terrifying.
Making his coffee. Rick? Where you go? He's going to pick up a pizza.
I don't have it.
I got news if you need it.
Well, you could do that story, too.
Which one?
About the nightclub.
Oh, the nightclub. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Thursday night. Big D's just he's having trouble with the coffee maker. So he says, hey, take over, do some news. So that's what we're going to do here with Kevin Downey Jr., of course, from the Kevin Downey Jr. radio show on Long Island News Radio. Long Island Radio News.com is the website.
LI News Radio.
LI News Radio, sorry. LINewsRadio.com is the website. Every morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., wherever you are, you can find him Eastern Time on the radio. And Kevin, where else can people, if they want to find out where you're playing comedy-wise, because I know you got a couple shows not only this weekend but next weekend as well, right?
No, next weekend I'm going to see Tom Jones.
Oh, that's right. That's right, the Tom Jones show. Oh, I knew you were doing something.
Tom Jones. I saw him 20 years ago. Best show I've ever seen. He was probably 60 then or 55. And women's throwing their granny panties at him. It was great.
Oh, yeah. I saw him at the I saw him at the Westbury Music Fair about 20 years ago.
And was he great?
He was awesome.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he was
I'll think about a dance.
Women were throwing bras and room keys.
Oh, really?
A couple of hotel room keys were thrown onto the stage. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, this is what it's like to be a stud.
You could open up a lingerie shop after that pickup on that stage.
It was awesome.
I get restraining orders thrown at me. Reminder.
Anyhow, Kevin's got some stuff he's been looking at in the news. Kevin, what do you got for us?
Thank you, sir. I'll tell you, folks, I've said it before. What happens in the UK is 3 to 5 years away from us. So in the UK right now, Muslims are raping natural-born British women with impunity. They're locking people up if they complain. And, of course, remember, to be a good apparatchik, you have to change history. You have to change a history of a nation or of the world. This, again, comes from the UK. I kid you not. They've got a new book out, new school book, and they're teaching that Joan of Arc was non-binary.
What?
Yeah. I don't even know what that means. All I know is that means there's someone woke just walked into the room. I'm not sure what non-binary. I guess it means you're not a male or a female.
Maybe.
You're something else.
I don't know.
Well, look at this. The publisher, they've got this book called Who We Are. It's an anthology. Taught to kids 11 through 14 in jolly old. And it says Joan Arc was non-binary. And we know this because she had short hair and went to war. There you go. And yeah, Elizabeth Warren is an Indian because she has high cheekbones and claims she is. So there you go. They're rewriting history is what they're doing, and they're full of cultural Marxism.
I was going to say, isn't that one of the tenets of Marxism?
Yep.
Is to get rid of your history?
Yep. Absolutely. That's why Mao did it. They destroyed 2,000-year-old temples and statues and things like that. And when those Antifa prags and BLM were running around Central Park tipping over statues, they tipped over one of like a fairly well-known abolitionist at the time. And everyone said, why would they do that? They should be on their side. It's not about sides. It's about destroying, all right? These people, you see these trailer park dwellers. I say that as someone who spent a little time in a mobile home myself. Wiping their bahookies on Cybertrucks. They don't care. They just want to destroy. Some of them are dumb. I said he's a fascist. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I want to talk later about victimization and how that leads to genocide again, because I'm seeing some things that are disturbing. But yeah, they just want to destroy. I know someone who owned a comedy club in Indianapolis, and it was 2020, and BLM and Antifa were doing their thing, and they had a BLM sign in the window. I thought, well, that'll save us. No, no, you idiot. It's not about on their side. It's about destroying, all right? And you see these people, their Teslas with a sticker. I bought this when Elon was still cool. They don't care. They want to destroy a car. And now they feel they have the moral authority to do so, all right? So grow a pair and keep your Tesla, and I wouldn't say beat up anyone wiping their bahookie on you, because I'm not here to tell you to be violent, because that would be illegal, and I would never do that. I know what I would do if I saw a hippie wiping his non-binary crotch on my, hate to brag, 2011 Subaru Forester. What? Did I tell you I butched up my car?
Yes.
I got an antenna. It's a 50 caliber bullet in camouflage. I go, hopefully this will make me look, maybe not quite as lesbian. But then I got the haircut and it was all over. It was all over.
Yeah, because that's going to work with that car.
Yeah. I could sneak into places with that one.
Oh,
he's on our side. Look at that car.
Yeah, super.
Oh, and it's a partial zero emissions car, PZE.
Ooh,
oh,
look at you.
Yeah, I didn't even know
trendsetter back in the day.
Oh,
that's great.
Just you drive that car for more than an hour, you will sit when you pee. You just can't stand to do it. I just have to sit. I'm a woman now.
All right. Anything else there, Kevin?
Yeah, I got tons, man. You let me know when to shut up, and I will. Because look at this. Sunny Hostin, still a doofus. You would think maybe not. Now, she's doing an episode of what's called Behind the Table. It's the podcast version of The View. And remember, folks, how do you get people to fight? You've got your oppressors and you're oppressed. And here's Sunny doing her part. They're talking about voter ID. And there's two phrases you got to use if you want to be a communist. She said, we can't do it because voter ID, and here's the phrase, disproportionately harms minorities. And in this case, she's talking about black people and women, because apparently black people and women can't maintain an ID.
Right.
And just as if that's not enough, you really want to make people angry, you got to add this. This is Sunny Hostin. The voter ID is sort of a vestige, I think, of post-slavery laws. Now she's going into slavery. That's right, folks. Make them victims. Here's your victim class. Here's your bad guys. Slavery, that gets them real mad. And you know what happens when you get people really angry? You know what happens? And this is sad, but a teenage boy, as you probably heard, stabbed another teenage boy in the heart.
On Long Island.
That was in
a different
Texas.
story. No,
Texas.
It was the grandmother.
Over nothing. That child was taught to hate. That child was told he's the victim, and that's the oppressor.
Right.
And now that kid, that murderer, he's got almost $320,000 for his defense at Give, Send, Go. Because people are on his side. Because they want a race war, and they love this. They love this. And look, I'll be big, bad, racist white guy. I know this stat to be true. White people outnumber black folks 5-1. Black folks murder white people, outmurder plus more than 2 to 1. More than 2 to 1. But we're the bad guys.
Right.
Well, this happens because for generations they've been told those are the white people, they're bad. And we were told if we comment, if we say, hey, what's with all this crime, we're racist.
Yes.
That's so that we can silently walk into our own extinction when our replacements get here. Oh, we've got 10 million from south of the border.
Right. And speaking of racism, of course, Jasmine Crockett was out doing it again, stirring up the racism because you can't afford food now because deportation, believe it or not. Believe it or not, deportation makes it so you can't afford food, not the fact that, inflation was at 9% at one point in the last few years and has continued to be up throughout the entire Biden administration. Here's cut number 2. Here's Jasmine Crockett telling you about why your food is so expensive.
Realm. So I am telling you that this is a failed thing, but we've got to do better to connect the dots and let people know the reason you can't afford a home is because of these failed immigration policies. The reason you're not going to be able to afford your food is because of these failed immigration policies. And the same can go for the hospitality industries, where we have so many of those in the hospitality industry that are saying they do not have the workers that they need right now.
That makes no sense.
That makes right, exactly.
No
that
surprise
makes
there.
No sense.
Right,
you can't afford a house, maybe because you don't have enough money to afford the house. Maybe because you're looking to buy a house you can't afford. Maybe you should look at a lower price house. That's not what she's saying. No, she's saying deportations. The Trump administration is the reason why you can't afford food. You can't afford a house.
Now, the first time I saw that, I thought, oh, she's saying we can't afford a house because there's so many illegal immigrants here that they're giving homes to them and the price has gone up. I thought she's come around. Then I went, oh, no, she hasn't.
No, she's just stupid.
She's dumb. Do you think she really believes that? Or is she like a useful idiot, or does she know?
I think she's a useful idiot. When you look at her bank account, how it's swelled in the last year or so.
Wow. She's investing wisely.
Pretty sure she's a useful idiot.
You know what? If Trump can't get the old school, the mustache Pete's, go for the young ones. Get rid of her.
Yeah.
Get rid of AOC.
Exactly. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do some more. We'll do some sports as well. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Stay there. Chat live in the chat.
We have a rant over on Rumble, so we don't miss them. Not all of them, anyway.
No, we don't.
From Ken B412. I work at Puttery in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the Strip District, and I had the opportunity to cook for 21 soldiers for Space Force today, and it was awesome. I hooked them up. It was a great honor, Madame Day. Great honor, made my day. There we go.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And again, that was Ken B412 with a rant in the Rumble chat. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ken B412.
Very nice.
And great opportunity to cook for the soldiers. That must have been cool, too. Soldiers of Space Force.
I've never met one.
I've seen them on TV.
Robbie S.
But I've never met one either.
Robbie S. in the YouTube chat wants to know if David's building a new coffee pot. Yeah, they don't call him Mr. Coffee for nothing. Oh, man. I think he's actually channeling Joe DiMaggio down here for the old coffee mate. The late Joe DiMaggio.
What a great reference. Joe DiMaggio did that.
Man, oh, man.
Oh, you know what? What's the worst, do you think, where you had a great athlete and he's pimping a horrible product? Like I saw, not an athlete, Ringo Starr pitching frozen pizza back in the 80s. It's pizza. And but he's never eaten a pizza, so he won't eat it at the end. He just talks about it. I was like, that's right. He did a pizza thing.
That's funny. No, I can't think of one. I'm sure there are. I'm sure once you name a few, I'll remember them.
Yeah. Babe Ruth used to do cigarette ads.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Oh, back in the day, they used to do crazy stuff. Yeah.
But I'm not calling my home runs.
That's right.
Where's Damon? 25 weirdest and worst celebrity endorsements. Let's see what we got here. Come on, website, open up. Let me see what you got for these weird Weird pitches. Oh, man, they're not open. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Thursday night. Kevin Downey Jr. is here. We'll talk with him in just a little bit more, do some more news as well. And let's do some sports right now with Slick Rick. Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. Save some big money on some great stuff from Mike Lindell's. And maybe one day we'll actually get to taste his Rev 7 if Damon remembers to bring it in so we can test it. Slick, what do you got for us?
Well, this Dominican Republic nightclub story just continues to get worse by the moment. You know, initially it involved sports, so I just kind of wanted to continue with that. And a New Jersey woman identified as one of 200 Dominican Republic nightclub collapse victims. Jennifer Contreras traveled to Dominican Republic for her birthday and to get beauty styling certification. This is Audrey Conklin of Fox News. A New Jersey woman has been identified as one of the 218 people who died in a Dominican Republic nightclub collapse late Tuesday. And I think the numbers are continuing to climb. I think your story was 220.
220 people. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And according to that story, they and I saw this on TV as well, Slick, they had moved away from, and it's amazing, I guess, how many sports stars and people that were related to sports people were at this nightclub.
Family,
they moved from the recovery phase to the from the rescue phase to the recovery phase. So basically, they're not expecting to find any more people alive. They're just looking to, at this point, find the bodies.
Yeah, a translated press release from the island's government said authorities have confirmed 218 deceased victims and rescued 189 people alive from the collapse of Jet Set, an iconic club known for attracting celebrity guests in Santo Domingo. These figures reflect both the magnitude of the tragedy and the tireless efforts of the response teams who, from the very beginning, have worked tirelessly and continue to do so in search of rescue and recovery efforts. The Dominican government said on Wednesday, friends and family identified one of the 218 deceased victims as the 26-year-old Jennifer Contreras of New Jersey. It's just terrible how the story continues to pour in, and there's been a lot of GoFundMe accounts, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of when we had the buildings collapse with the World Trade Center, different set of circumstances, but the recovery efforts that went on for several days, and then you get that crossover point where you're just not going to find anybody in that rubble. And had they found out the cause? Was there a fire? What
no,
in the world
it just kind of collapsed.
I guess it's too early to tell.
Yeah, I guess it's too early. It sounds like it's structural. Maybe, just too many people up on a building of that age. I don't know how old the building was, but it could be something like that, where it just wasn't, originally when it was built, probably wasn't meant for that, but it was turned into it. Who knows?
It just continues to, develop the story, and we'll keep an eye on it as well. And like you said, it did affect the baseball community. A lot of baseball players come from DR, so that's obviously one of the hotbeds for sports, and in baseball in particular, some soccer as well. So just a really rough story. Let me get to some quick scores while we have a minute. NHL action right now. Blackhawks 4-2 over the Bruins, 31 to go there in the third. Also, 15 seconds to go in the third. The Panthers pretty much closing out in Florida over the Red Wings 4-1. Blue Jackets over the Sabres 3-2, a minute to go there in the third. At the end of two, the Capitals continue to lead the Hurricanes 4-2. In UBS Arena, 19 to go in the third. Rangers in control, leading the Islanders 5-1. Islanders just got on the board in late second period. Jets 2-0 over the Stars. Canucks no score there. Again, in the that's just underway, as is the Predators and the Utah Hockey Club. Coming up at 10 p.m., we have the Kraken taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, obviously in Vegas, and that's a 10 p.m. puck drop. And then the Ducks and Kings with the nightcap as well out in L.A., Crypto.com Arena. To the NBA we go. The Knicks lost tonight to Detroit, 115-106. Yeah, the Knicks looking to position themselves for a good playoff spot. At least they're in the playoffs. But, tough loss there. Hawks 106-82 over the Nets. And the Bucks right now leading the Pelicans 89-78 98. That's with 3:51 to go there in the third. NCAA men's hockey. Well, the first of the Frozen Four is over. Western Michigan does defeat Denver 3-2 in double overtime. That must have been one heck of a game. We didn't get a chance to catch it. Western Michigan was the fourth seed in the Frozen Four, the only seeded team that's left. Boston University and Penn State, that game was pushed up to a later start, 9:50 puck drop due to the Western Michigan-Denver game going so long in overtime. So we will probably not have that. I'll give an update tomorrow night. And some quick baseball scores. Braves and Phillies are in a rain delay in Atlanta. That game is tied at 1, and I gave you the finals earlier tonight. So that's a wrap in sports. Rick, I'm going to throw it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Slick. And again, Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout and save yourself a ton of money and help out some nice people there at MyPillow.com, including Mike Lindell. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this. And, this, again, it goes back to people need to be held accountable for things that they do, especially in Washington, D.C., as David Sachs. You know who he is? The All In podcast, kind of a rich guy? Yeah. The entrepreneur and political advisor, often referred to as Trump's crypto czar, shedding light on a growing controversy surrounding the USAID's financial activities. In a recent appearance on the All In podcast, Sachs discussed how revelations from Doge have caused alarm among Washington's establishment. And those are the people that are screaming the loudest, right? The people in D.C., because we know they're the ones who are benefiting from all of this. And not only them, but their family members and their little NGOs, and they're setting up friends and family for deals that down the road they can take advantage of. Well, here's David talking about why people are freaking out so much. It's cut number 7. Here's David Sachs on USAID, cut 7.
Okay, so we knew the U.S. government runs a $2 trillion deficit every year. We're in debt almost $40 trillion. And we also knew that anytime anyone tries to cut anything in Washington, the whole city screams bloody murder. Okay, so the question is just why? Well, now we know. The money is all going to them. It's like round tripping to them. New York Times, getting paid. Politico, getting paid. Bill Kristol, perennial warmonger, getting paid. Ukraine, getting paid. Like 11 out of 12 publications, Ukraine, getting paid.
Incredible.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, was saying that he's very popular in Hungary. His political opposition, funded by USAID. In Poland, the left-wing political opposition funded by USAID, and on and on and on it goes.
BBC, you wonder why everyone in the UK,
paid.
so yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe the BBC's getting paid.
Every left-wing organization in the world seems to be getting paid by this slush fund at USAID, which disperses about $50 billion a year. That's $1 billion a week. That's actually a lot of money. And so it makes you wonder, the left in general tries to portray itself as a movement of the people, that it's grassroots. This is the exact opposite. This is AstroTurf. This is basically money coming from the top down out of Washington to fund all of these groups, maybe not even in the United States, like all over the world. So it makes you wonder, what is the real level of local support for these left-wing policies all over the world?
Yeah, that's probably the best question out of all this, is when you start to look at who they were funding. And, consensus this, and people are rising up because they really love these policies. People don't love these policies.
No.
They hate them, as a matter of fact, and we're finding out more and more. And the only reason why they were gaining traction, and we probably looked at ourselves like, people really like this stuff? Because all these publications and these media places were being paid to push it as, oh my goodness, look what the people want, when the people don't really want this.
Yes, and 2 things I noticed about that. Number 1, they're paying people around the globe, which tells me what? This is the globalists doing it, folks. And who are they paying off? Operation Mockingbird media mud puppy outlets there. That's who's getting the money. Yeah. And they're pushing the globalist agenda as if it's normal. And people read, I guess it's normal now. I guess you got to.
Yeah, I guess you do. I guess men and women's sports is normal. It's not normal. It goes against everything. And when you see how much money the Doge has found, I think they were supporting like $750 million to an organization that went after, check this out, that went after lawyers and judges who misgendered transgendered people who wanted to do stuff.
Unbelievable, man.
Almost $1 billion to push almost $1 billion.
And you know, Colorado is working on a law where if you misgender your own kid, you can lose custody. It's already happened. A couple in Montana lost their daughter, and a couple in Indiana, blood red, lost their son. But now, if you've got mom and dad getting divorced and you want some, you want to see your kid, if you misgender the kid, that your ex-liberal wife, who's an idiot, told, hey, Carl, you're Carla now because mommy needs to be cool, you will lose. You will lose in Colorado. You may not see your kid again because that's how strongly they're pushing this, trans and bob nonsense.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And the left is so stupid. I've got another example of the left being stupid. Do you want to see it, Kevin? Because I think you'd be into this one. Have you heard of Chris Matthews?
Oh God, I hate him.
Well, he's a stalwart of the left, of the mainstream deep state media. Here he is talking about the tariffs, and you can tell it's something that hits close to home. He knows a lot about it. He knows a lot about the environment. He knows how things are going to be affected. Here's Chris Matthews, cut number 14, talking about, I guess, something that he's an expert in. Check this out.
But there's other thing. I watched on the evening news last night, one of the other networks, and I watched the issue of lumber. Now, you see, we get so much of our lumber, our 2x4s, from Canada. Where we get it from? Canada. We get our newsprint from up there for newspapers. The fact is we get it. What are we going to do? Have more lumber made in the United States now? What is our plan now? Oh, we're not going to import wood, so we're going to make more wood? We're going to create more wood? Is that it? I don't think we're in a position to simply replicate the imports coming into this country with our own products. It can't always be done. And I think if wood's example of that, wood. Are we going to make more wood in this country because of our trade deal? I don't think so.
Yeah. So according to Chris Matthews, he doesn't think we can make more wood in this country.
He hasn't made wood in decades.
I knew that was coming. Literally. That was good.
Yes, Chris Matthews can't make wood, but the rest of the country can. I don't know. Is he that stupid?
You know
or is he just old and now he's kind of showing his dementia coming out like, we can't make wood, dadgummit.
You know what? I think he's one of these old-time Bolsheviks. All right. Who's that? Is it Leslie Stahl?
Leslie Stahl, yeah.
She recently had an interview where she sided with a terrorist.
Well,
she was interviewing the guy who'd been taken prisoner on October 7th. Oh, they starved me. Did they have food?
Right.
What? What?
Are you sure they were starving you, or were they starving with you?
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of nonsense.
You know what, folks? I drive a lot. You get to Pennsylvania on Interstate 80 at the New Jersey border. You drive 5 hours across. You're going to see nothing but trees made out of... Go get a couple.
I was going to say, you go over the just past the George Washington Bridge and head north. Guess what?
Yep.
There's a lot of mountain country up in upstate New York, and guess what? It's filled with wood. Chris Matthews
got wood.
Maybe not you. Maybe you need a blue pill, but the rest of the country does not. We can make our own wood. And we probably will do it a lot better than the Canadians.
His inflatable doll's going to say no to him.
Oh, my goodness. Holy moly. Just when you thought the left couldn't be more stupid, we give you Chris Matthews. All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back. Final segment of the night. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Stay there. What are we going to make more wood?
Super
I
chat.
don't think so.
Super chat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be done? Yeah, me either.
Super chat. Dre. Drag Blacker, big Rick. I got a super chat.
I have to.
$5 from Drag Blacker. He says Delgado's alien friend abducted Damon.
Could be. Could be.
Hey, Slick.
Yes,
I don't know if you heard this. This might be breaking news. Sorokin is injured.
Elias Sorokin got injured a couple of days ago.
Oh, you know? Okay,
he got injured a couple of days ago. He must have got injured again tonight. He was injured. I think his shoulder.
Yeah, the Islanders are losing 5-0.
Aaron just screamed in my ear.
I heard it.
I don't think she knew.
They're getting blown out by the Rangers right now. But yeah, Sorokin was injured a couple of days ago.
Yes, I do. I guess I'll be reading them.
6-1 Rangers just went up. 6-1. Good gravy. Yeah, milk them.
Really? Why?
It's all right. It's no big deal. I got one segment to go.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. Embarrassing. Well, just sums it all up.
Do you think anyone's going to beat Ovechkin?
No, nobody. I don't think so.
In
The
our
game has
lifetime,
changed.
maybe not.
No, Conor McGregor on Edmonton, but you got to look at his numbers. I don't even think he's got a shot.
We were looking at the goals scored by Gretzky his last 5.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he broke 9 was his total.
Really?
Ovechkin's got 40.
Wow. Oh, is this true? Slick, you might know, or maybe either of you know. I heard the goal to tie Gretzky, he had a chance at an empty netter and said, nah, I want to get this the right way. Is that true?
He slipped it. Yep. He didn't put it in. That was back in 1993.
Wow.
Long time ago.
Wow.
32 years. The great Gretzky, he knew he was going to get another goal. He didn't want to break Gordie Howe's record. In that style.
You know what? That's a real...
Oh, boy. Sounds like a 3-read blues to me. While we may have won this election, the fight to restore our great nation is only beginning. Now is the time to take a stand. Patriot Mobile is leading the charge. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. With Patriot Mobile, it isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend our rights and freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all 3 major networks. If you have a cell phone service today, you can get a cell phone service with Patriot Mobile with the coverage guarantee. But the difference is every dollar you spend supports the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and veterans and first responders as well. Switching is easy. With Patriot Mobile, you get to keep your number, you get to keep your phone, and you can also upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team will help you find the perfect plan. All you got to do right now is go to patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of service with promo code RAV. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT for Patriot Mobile. Now, did you know you can join AMAC today for only $1, Slick? $1. That's right, $1 for a 1-year membership. I want to encourage you all to visit amac.us/studio6B and activate this limited time opportunity. Just listen to all that you get for only $1. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, works tirelessly to advocate for the values that matter most to Americans like you: small government, strong borders, election integrity, and protecting your constitutional rights. Becoming an AMAC member gives you that and gives you access to free advice on Social Security and Medicare, ensuring you get the help you need when you need it most. Also, as an AMAC member, you'll stay informed with trusted news through AMAC's Newsline, the Better for America podcast, and your subscription to the award-winning AMAC magazine, all included for $1. Plus, it's not over. Members enjoy exclusive money-saving discounts on travel, hotel, insurance, restaurants, and so much more. For a limited time, you can join AMAC and receive all these benefits and more for just $1 for your first year. Normally $16. You can take advantage of all these benefits and help save America at the same time, and it only costs you $1 to join. Visit amac.us/Studio6B or call 1-888-262-2006. That's amac.us/Studio6B or call 1-888-262-2006. Join now and save America with AMAC. You thought I was done? I'm not done. Why? Because tax season is here. What is today? The 10th? What do we got? 5 days?
Yep.
Well, it's officially here, and the IRS is turning up the heat. With the April 15th deadline fast approaching, now's the time for you to act. If you've fallen behind filing or owe back taxes, delay will only make things worse. Every day you wait, increase your risks and the consequences. And with over 5,000 new tax liens filed every day, the powerful enforcement tools like property seizures, bank levies, and wage garnishments are at its disposal. The IRS is applying pressure at a level we haven't seen in years, driven by heightened administrative security. So, what do? Don't make the mistake of facing the IRS alone. Tax Network USA is here to help you to take control. Self-employed or a small business owner, even if your books are a mess, they can handle it. Tax Network USA specializes in sorting out financial chaos and getting you back on track fast. Your consultation is absolutely free, so don't wait another day or another letter or a surprise levy from the IRS. Put a stop to the growing interest payments, the penalties and threats, and take control of your finances with Tax Network USA. Call 1-800-905-8000. That's 1-800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAV. Tax season is here. Don't wait for April 15th. Make your move today. Beat the IRS to it. That's 1-800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAV. With that said, we've got a few minutes. Let's cut it over to sports real quick. Anything to final up there, Slick, with sports?
Yeah, well, this is a story that broke the other night, and just a follow-up. This is from Outkick. Tyreek Hill won't face charges after a domestic assault call, but scrutiny on him is troubling. This is from Armando Salgaro of Outkick. The misadventures of Tyreek Hill continued this week, with police being called to his Sunny Isle Beach luxury condominium at the behest of his mother-in-law in what police were told was a domestic assault in progress. And let's cut to the end of this incident before everyone's blood pressure goes off the scale. Hill was not arrested and will not be charged. The investigation is closed, according to Sunny Isles Police Sergeant Brian Schnell, who told Outkick no crime was committed. So we said they'll share the specific incident later in the story, straight from the police incident, following interviews with Hill, his wife Keita Hill, and Alessia Vaccaro, the mother-in-law. But because this will not continue to be a legal issue, outside of the fact that Hill and his wife are telling cops they are divorcing, it's become a matter for the NFL and the Miami Dolphins. The NFL, you see, has something called the personal conduct policy, and that policy states players convicted of a crime or subject to a disposition of a criminal proceeding, as defined in this policy, are subject to discipline. But even if the conduct does not result in a criminal conviction, players found to have engaged in any discipline, the following conduct will be subject to discipline. Prohibited conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following: actual or threatened physical violence against another person, including dating violence, domestic violence, child abuse, and other forms of family violence. So we remember Tyreek Hill also had that issue being pulled over before the game for speeding by the police, right? So there's some issues with this young man. Very talented player. I don't know, Dolphins may be looking to unload him before the season starts. So really crazy stuff, Rick. But I'm going to wrap it there so you can finish out, and that's Rapid Sports.
All right. Well, thank you, Slick. And again, Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com and take advantage of using our code LFS6B at checkout. Kevin Downey Jr. of the famed Kevin Downey Jr. radio show on linewsradio.com. Heard every day, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. Kev, what else you got for us before we wrap up?
You know what, folks? When Trump won, thank you, God, I predicted there would be whistleblowers. This is my favorite one yet. There's a whistleblower from Facebook.
Oh, I
Her
heard
name's
about
Sarah Wynne Williams. She told senators, and I quote, that Facebook worked hand in glove with the Chinese government to censor on its platforms. She said, I saw Meta executives, that's Facebook, repeatedly undermine U.S. national security and betray American values. Why? For money, for Chinese money. Whoa, lost my earpiece, just like John. I'm doing my John Solomon impression. Lost my earpiece, sir. Look at this. Said Zuckerberg made censorship his business model. He says, Josh Hawley, senator from Missouri, says the evidence that we have in black and white is a company and leadership that is willing to do anything to work with America's chief competitor, work with our chief adversary. So, I love how Zuckerberg's pretending to be Mr. MAGA now. He's not. He's a horrible, horrible reptile.
Right.
And this woman is spilling the guts. They're working with China. Those are the bad guys. Those are the bad guys. And they're censoring people. Like you and me. People said, "Hey, I think this COVID didn't come from a bat salad," and then you were shut down. The Chinese were doing it. You know who else was doing it? The FBI, the CIA, and China. The CIA and China in the same room. That's weird because the CIA gave China money to make the COVID virus. It's almost like we're on the same side of the New World Order or something creepy like that. But what do I know?
Exactly.
I'm just a tinfoil wacko.
Well, thank you, Kevin. And again, make sure you visit his website. What's the website?
You know what? It's going to be up this weekend. We're doing some work on it. It's KevinDowneyJr.show.com.
There you go. So visit his website, find out all you need to know about KDJ. Visit his writing styles on pjmedia.com as well, and his radio show and his comedy and anything he does. Even when he goes to the bathroom, he's going to post it so you can know what he's doing at all times. Anyhow.
That's a crapshoot.
As always, we thank everyone for watching. As always, we, of course, salute our military, active and retired, our first responders across the board, EMT, firefighters, police, everybody working the front lines like the Border Patrol, you name it, everybody out there doing what they do to keep our lives as happy and as healthy as possible. We thank you. Thank you, everybody on the show, of course. We've got Fran and Aaron in the booth. Big D's floating around somewhere in the building. Kevin Downey Jr., of course, joining us. Slick Rick is over here as well. And, of course, everybody in the chats. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow night, Pizza Friday night, from the America First Warehouse. Live Friday night show. We're ramping up till when we can get people in the building. May 2nd. All right. Until tomorrow. Peace.